look at something going on in the news and go, you know what the situation needs? Kill Barack Obama.
I've said this before. People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
Boy. I'm telling you, when this first came out, the internet was abuzz, it was ablaze. And you know what? The flicker to a flame to an inferno has started again. Welcome one and all, I am Frenchai Pearson. Welcome to Frenchai Blue, August 11th of 2024. As you can see, it's 11:42 in the PM. Got to take care of some business early in the morning, so I'm setting this up. I'm prepping this up for tomorrow. And tomorrow, I plan on being live tomorrow because Elon Musk will be interviewing former President Donald J. Trump. But yeah, there's some rumblings going on that Obama is really orchestrating everything. I've hinted at that before and speculated that before. But you know, every now and then some birds begin to chirp. And there is a bird out there chirping. And his name is former Speaker of the House. I'm sure you'll recognize him. We have former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, reveals who he thinks is really running Kamala's campaign. Now you might say, well, Pearson, he's got some eggs to crack and some, how do they say it? He's got some, some bones to pick because, you know, they ran him on out. That's a valid argument. But you know, Kevin McCarthy been out for a while. He know a lot of people. And he has been on the television circuit ever since he left the speakership. I always thought that when they ran him out of office, allegedly, that was strategy. Straight up. I did a video on it. But that was strategy. You got to get certain people out the way to flow with your agenda. Wouldn't you agree? And maybe, just maybe, Kevin McCarthy was one of those people. And he's pushing back and trying to get back up in that fold, hoping that Donald J. Trump can get back up in there. That's what I'm thinking he's doing. Put in the comment section what you think. Let's read this here. Kevin McCarthy says Vice President Kamala Harris let's go to that again. Says Vice President Kamala Harris is not in charge of her presidential campaign and is getting major assistance behind the scenes. The disgraced ex-House Speaker claims that former President Barack Obama is secretly running the efforts to get Harris elected in November. Speaking with the Cats Roundtable on Sunday, McCarthy pointed to Vice President hiring people to work for her campaign that were once part of Obama's team. I guess we can call it the dream team. And you know what? Even though I'm against this Obama move in the last days, I can definitely understand and appreciate the strategy if you're trying to get back up in there. You take that which has a history and has had a history of doing what? Getting you what you want. Obama served 2 terms. And so all the king's horses and all the king's men are coming back with their saddles, and they're making a run for it, but they're in the shadows, so to speak. You feel me? It says, quote, "You're getting the Obama shifting from running the White House." Look at that. You're getting the Obama shifting from running the White House to now running this campaign, the California Republicans said. Wow. McCarthy, who was ousted in the last October from his speakership, is joining a chorus of Republicans who claim Obama is running a shadow campaign and is really pulling the strings. Quote, "If you're watching the campaign now, some of Obama's key people, such as David Pulliff, who I'll show you in a little bit, and others are now working on the campaign," McCarthy told host John Katzmatidis of 770 WABC. Now, Harris took over as the de facto Democratic nominee last month after President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign. Many of Obama's top advisors now have roles with Harris' 2024 presidential campaign. What do you guys think? You think this is okay? I mean, look again, you gotta admire it. I mean, look at the economy. Look at what went down in terms of the border crisis. Look. And you're talking about strategy, not based on what they did, which is ugly. Like I said, border crisis and economy. If you notice, it's Silent Night, Holy Night. Everybody's screaming to the top of their lungs saying, when is Harris going to do an interview? Well, that's the strategy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Do it when you feel like it's best. Because right now, you're close to it, or neck and neck in the polls, and you're raising all this money. So again, why change it? This is what I read and listened to before I did this video tonight. I'm like, you know what? They're strategizing, people. Let's look at this one here. Exclusive, former Attorney General Holder to vet Harris' potential running mates. So yeah, Eric Holder, I reported that last week. He was out here. Former Attorney General Eric Holder and law firm Coverton and Berlin, LLP, will conduct vetting of potential running mates for Vice President Kamala Harris' campaign for the U.S. presidency, according to two sources familiar with the matter. And it did happen. Harris is running for the Democratic presidential nomination after Joe got out. Harris is aiming to wrap up Democratic nomination, blah, 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 blah. Holder served as Attorney General for President Barack Obama for 6 years and was the first African American to hold the country's top law enforcement job. His involvement in vetting process may measure Democrats that a longtime political and legal hand is helping to ensure Harris' pick should she win the nomination, which she did. So yeah, Eric Holder's in the House. Obama got all his people back. Tell you, man, look, this is for all the marbles. And like I said in last week's video, it was Obama who was the mentor of the Prime Minister of Britain, and he won. So hey, Obama's 1 for 1 so far. Will he get Harris in there along with Tim? It's a Herculean challenge, but I think he'll do it. Now check this out. Here's Holder here. I showed this last week. Former Attorney General Eric Holder arriving at Kamala's house in D.C., driving a caddy. And do you know only found 2 videos on this guy? They kept it kind of top secret. Now, here's McCarthy. want you to listen to what he's saying about what's going on with this pick of Tim Walz and how liberal things are gotten. Real liberal.
I mean, this is what's so amazing to me. I served with Tim. We came into Congress together. He's known for being the Bernie Sanders of Congress. But to combine those two together and to try to ignore what just transpired yesterday, it was the Kamala crash that a lot of 401ks got wiped out. You've got every day you go to the grocery store, Kamala has raised the inflation. You watch every day what's happening at our border. She was in charge of that. What has she accomplished in all of this? I've watched the damage she's done to California. I watched what Tim did to the burning of his own city. I mean, I think they've gone way too far. And really, had she picked Shapiro, I would have given her a lot of respect, because it would have shown she was prepared at least to try to be president, that she'd stand up to her own party. But she's proven today she will not. She's going further left than possible.
Now, what do you think? You think that Obama's doing this thing with a double-edged sword? He's cutting through. She's not interviewing yet. And the goal is to get this thing, right? Maybe, just maybe, Obama's saying, you know what? I'll push her, but I'll sink her at the same time. I said, I'll push her, but I'll sink her ship. Because, you know, oh boy got some baggage. And she don't have no leverage because she's tied to the hip of old Joe. Feel me? And do you think Kevin McCarthy got a bone to pick? I think he's just a true blue patriot trying to get it done. And he's the crying wolf out there. The question is, are there enough people in place to listen and make anything happen? Now here's here's President Biden giving his reason for pulling out, okay? Interview he did a few days ago. He was a ghost for a while, wasn't he? Check it out.
Decision. Tell me the story.
Look, the polls we had showed that it was a neck and neck race, would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so, and I thought it'd be a real distraction, number one. Number two, when I ran the first time, I thought of myself as being a transition president. I can't even say how old I am. It's hard for me to get out of my mouth. And, but things got moving so quickly, it didn't happen. And the combination was that I thought it was a critical issue for me, still is not a joke, maintaining this democracy. But I thought it was important because although it's a great honor being president, I think I have an obligation to the country to do
an obligation to the country. Get out, stay focused, because the goal is to beat Trump. That's what he said. I think the plan was for him just to ruin the country and then phase Kamala in and then phase Obama's wife in. That's how I'm looking at it. I said, that's how I'm looking at it. I mean, this thing is just, and the numbers show it. I think it's almost exactly 3.5 years. That's 3.6 to 666. And now here comes Kamala coming up the heap. The horse race is on. Obama's working his magic. This makes me believe that the country is very vulnerable now. I mean, hear me out. Very vulnerable. I would call it a capitalization moment. You've got Tim, the newness, and you've got Kamala the oldness, and they're gelling and they're going around campaigning. But like I said earlier, it's about showing off the raw baby, the newborn, because they're speaking about joy. They're speaking about joy. And so as you're focusing on them, behind the scenes, Kevin McCarthy and other people are saying that Obama and his cast of characters from the past, they're chucking and knitting and poking and making moves and all being all strategic, because the goal is the office. The principal players are in place. But you know what? At some point, again, will it be a double-edged sword? I think this man knew all the time that he was going to be out. I don't really believe he was sick. I believe it was all planned. It's fitting just too good, people. It's working out just too well, you see, to our detriment. You understand? To our detriment. So I don't believe that him and Trump are neck and neck. Have you seen the crowds? Come on, man. Nobody packs the crowd like Trump. You know it and I know it. He's not telling the truth. And he knows it. But he's got to come out after being silent since he put his letter out. And now he's crossed his legs like a chicken, explaining himself. Well, you know, we were neck and neck, and between Pelosi and Schumer and Obama and all them, they kind of thought I was going to hurt the party. So the best thing to do is to keep the dignity and everything together, and I'll have a legacy. And no. You're just selling, Joe, like you did for 3.5 years. Matter of fact, we ain't seen your wife in almost 3 weeks. Oh, I think she was at the Olympics. But still, we haven't seen her. And you haven't been doing any tripping and falling lately. Oh, I guess because the act is over, right? Now it's time to just go out into the sunset and we forget about everything that you did, all the damage that you did. Yeah. Wonder how that earpiece is doing that Obama allegedly put in your ear. I'll digress. And let's go to this here.
Consider, and would other people that have been
Here
through
we
this
have-
consider being part of this short campaign?
Some things just won't shut up when you're trying to do it right. Go to the 237 mark. Here we have this guy here. He used to work for Obama. You might even recognize him. This guy here, yeah, here he is here. David Pulliff. I read about him a little while ago. I read you to him. I read him to you a few minutes ago. This guy is out and about. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if David Axelrod came on the scene. Remember David Axelrod? He was a heavyweight. I think he was the chief advisor, if I'm not mistaken. I wonder what David Axelrod is out. He was out there a few months ago talking about Joe wasn't gonna make it. You feel me? Remember that? David Axelrod was out there. And now we got David Pulliff back out. I want you to hear what he is saying. But people, I believe this is a very vulnerable time, and the average American doesn't even know. The caper didn't end, allegedly, with Joe Biden being pushed out, quote unquote, and Kamala being ushered in with no vote, and then her picking Tim Walz, allegedly. But also what's going on is that allegedly Obama, according to people again, like the former Speaker of the House, he's manipulating, maneuvering that as well. Do we have a democracy? That's the question. Do we have a democracy? I mean, as it's being unveiled, every time we take a peek and get a peek of what's really going on, they close it back up with another sideshow. But check it out.
Overturned the right to abortion in Minnesota. So I think I'm excited about this ticket. And having run a presidential campaign before, you know, the VP pick, people are going to vote on Harris and Trump. Let's not mistake that. But a VP can go to many places, can almost double your coverage. I think Tim Walz is going to be super effective in places like Western Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania, Western Wisconsin, rural Georgia, the northern part of Nevada, places where he can speak about his values, his biography, and what he accomplished. And of course, if J.D. Vance decides to debate, you know, Donald Trump right now is in the mode of ducking debates. I look forward to that debate. I mean, Tim Walz is normal, mainstream, and happy. And J.D. Vance is weird, extreme, and angry. And I really do think, listen, policy matters a great amount. What you're going to do for the country from an issue standpoint matters a great amount. But also that visual presentation, I think, of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, as they love America. They love people. They know our better.
Boy, he really selling, ain't he? You would think this guy was campaigning the way he's hyping, right? The dog and pony show is real, people. I'm gonna keep telling y'all, the prize of America is the biggest prize on earth, probably next to Israel and Britain. They are taking down countries, nations, kingdoms, men and women, kings and queens, daily. Something we thought we'd never see. And you know, as I think about it, a lot of us don't see. I hope that with my videos, I'm shining some light on this thing that you can see what is happening, because it's happening before us. As I was preparing for this video, like started a few days ago, I had noticed I saw about 4 different anchors with Tiffany blue on. I'm telling you, she's got the Tiffany blue scarf, and I saw 3 other ladies with Tiffany blue dresses on. The same day that Kamala Harris announced Tim Walz. And as you can see, this video is 4 days old. But on that day, believe me you, I found 4 anchor women had Tiffany blue on. That tells me that they all got the same fashion desire, or somebody behind the scenes is coordinating. Everybody got the same email/memo. The new system's coming in. That's Phoenician secondary color, Tiffany blue. They've been running the red and black for a couple of months now, sacrifice. You know how that red and black border go. But again, I hope I'm serving you guys on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, that you guys can discern. Knowledge is power. Knowledge keeps you focused. My question to you, do you think it's right that these people from the past, I would say allegedly been lingering around? And I wouldn't think it's a stretch to say that as they were lingering around, they've probably been running the White House the last 3.5 years. I'm gonna say it again. Not only were they allegedly lingering around, and now they can outwardly show themselves in being quote unquote hired by Kamala, but I would say allegedly they've been running the White House. Because as you think back, it's something about the mind that when you have a person who's out of the spotlight for a while, you know, it's like being in a relationship. If you don't have your relationship with someone for a while, maybe like a 6-8 months or a year, and you don't see them for a while, your mind begins to have a truer perspective. Put in the comment section, you know what I'm talking about. It could be a former job where you had a boss that was sticking it to you. You didn't realize it until after you left. Because when you got another boss, you could see how how it really should have been done, and you realize just how much of a fool your boss was making out of you, or you have a better relationship, and you realize that guy, he was just slick talking, smooth, smiled, made love to you, and you lost your little mind. You couldn't see it. But once you was away from it for a little while, you begin to see. And the same way with you guys. You might have had a smooth woman, look good, you know, talked in your ear, knew exactly what to say, and, you know, touch you in all the right places. Keep it clean, but you know what I'm trying to say. And you couldn't see nothing. It's that old adage of that song, when a man loves a woman, ain't too many things he won't do. Turn his back on his best friend if he put her down. We haven't seen this man, or not too much of him, since he was hunkered down in Delaware. Now he's doing an interview. He want to come clean. I said he want to come clean. I ain't buying it. Allegedly, he just as dirty as he was when he first took office, and everybody else around him. You know, when you come to this channel, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I ain't got time to play games, because we live here. It's time to see it for what it is. I'm Friend Shot Pierce. If you appreciate the work, please share it. Thumbs up. Don't forget, if you become unsubscribed, check for me every day. I do 3 to 4 videos every day, trying to get it done for your sake, Christ's sake. They're trying to take America, people. They're doing it gradually. Thank God for people like Kevin McCarthy. Hopefully there's an avalanche of people come out against this system. They're doing it overtly, covertly, in your face, alleged lying tongues, making policies. Do you think it's right? Any policy that's been made under his administration, wow. All I can say is wow. Was it really you who made that decision? Talk to you guys tomorrow. God bless.